There's this story we are taught from the time we are little. Family is everything. Blood is thicker than water. Siblings will always have your back. And because we believe that story, because we want to believe that story, we often swallow betrayals that should have never been excused. Today, I want to tell you something hard but necessary. There are some betrayals from siblings you should never forgive. Not because you are petty, not because you are cruel, but because pretending they didn't happen will cost you your peace, your dignity, and your ability to trust yourself. We grow up soaking in this story that family, especially siblings, means automatic, unshakable loyalty. It's told to us through bedtime stories, through Sunday dinners, through the way grown-ups shake their heads and say family is family. We are taught that no matter what happens, no matter how deep the wound, no matter how bad the betrayal, we are supposed to stay loyal. We are taught that loyalty is a virtue even when it comes at the cost of our self-respect. We are taught that forgiveness is a requirement even when it feels like betrayal to our own soul. But let's be honest about something. Loyalty without trust is not love. It's self-betrayal. When we confuse loyalty with unconditional tolerance for harm, we lose the very foundation that relationships are supposed to be built on: respect, safety, and truth. Loyalty becomes toxic when it demands that you swallow your hurt, deny your reality, and excuse the inexcusable just to keep the family story intact. Just to keep everybody comfortable, just to avoid being called the difficult one, just to be the good daughter, the good son, the good sibling. But here's what no one tells you. Being good at the expense of your own heart is not goodness, it's self-arrestor. The myth of unconditional loyalty demands silence where there should be honesty. It demands tolerance, the myth of unconditional loyalty, where there should be boundaries. It demands endurance where there should be distance. And worst of all, it tricks you into believing that your worth is tied to how much pain you can endure without complaining. It tells you if you were stronger, you could handle it. If you were more loving, you wouldn't be hurt by it. If you were a better sibling, you would forgive and forget. No, that's not strength. That's not love. That's not family. Real loyalty is earned, not assumed. Real loyalty is built brick by people who show up when it's hard, who tell the truth when it's uncomfortable, who apologize when they've done harm and change their behavior, who protect your dignity even when no one is looking. When loyalty is real, it feels like freedom, not a chain. It feels like home, not a prison. But when loyalty is demanded instead of earned, it becomes a weapon used to control you. It becomes a tool to keep you small, silent, and ashamed. It becomes a leash around your neck, tightening every time you try to breathe. So today, if no one has ever said it to you plainly, let me be the first. You are allowed to question loyalty that is built on fear instead of love. You are allowed to walk away from those who call you family, but treat you like you're disposable. You are allowed to build your life around trust, respect, and safety, not around who shares your blood, but around who shares your values. Family isn't defined by DNA. Family is defined by the people who choose you every single day and who show you through their actions that they are safe places for your heart. And if that means letting go of someone who once shared your childhood, but now threatens your peace, it's not betrayal. It's the deepest kind of self-honoring. You don't have to keep carrying the myth of unconditional loyalty. You can put it down. You can be loyal first and foremost to yourself. And that is what real belonging begins with. There are betrayals that hurt, and then there are betrayals that fracture belonging. We tell ourselves we're overreacting. We tell ourselves that's just how family is. We shrink the wound down to something we think we can live with, because the real truth that someone who was supposed to protect us, love us, stand with us, chose to hurt us is almost too big to carry. Minimizing the hurt is a survival strategy. It's a way we try to avoid the bigger pain, the pain of accepting that the relationship isn't what we thought it was. It's a way to cling to hope that maybe, just maybe, things can stay the same if we just pretend a little harder. If we can convince ourselves it wasn't a big deal, minimizing the hurt, and why it fails tornado, then maybe we don't have to face the grief. Maybe we don't have to face the loneliness. Maybe we don't have to make the terrifying choice or set boundaries that feel like betrayal. Even though the real betrayal already happened to us. But here's the truth. Minimizing the hurt doesn't heal it. It just buries it alive. And buried hurt doesn't disappear. It furs. It leaks into our self-worth. It whispers lies like you're too sensitive. You expect too much. You're the problem. When you minimize your hurt, you gaslight yourself. You teach yourself not to trust your own heart, your own instincts, your own pain. And in doing so, you betray yourself a second time. The first betrayal was theirs, but the second betrayal becomes yours. And that is the deepest danger of minimizing. It doesn't just protect the person who hurt you, it fractures your relationship with yourself. Because if you can't trust your own feelings, your own memories, your own experience, then who can you trust? If you don't believe yourself when you say that hurt me, then you start to lose the most sacred thing you have, your own inner voice. And once you lose that, it's a long, hard road back home to yourself. So, let's say it plainly, being hurt by your sibling is real. Feeling betrayed is valid. Grieving that betrayal is not weakness. Naming the hurt is not cruelty. Protecting yourself is not being unforgiving. Minimizing the hurt won't make you more lovable. It won't make them treat you better. It won't magically heal what's broken. It will only delay the healing you deserve. You are not too sensitive for feeling the sting of betrayal. You are not overreacting because you trusted and were let down. You are not making a big deal out of nothing. You are honoring the depth of your own heart. You are telling the truth about your own story. You are loving yourself enough to say this mattered and I matter. And it takes tremendous courage to refuse to minimize your pain. It takes guts to stand in the messy, uncomfortable, heartbreaking truth and say, I was hurt and it matters and I deserve better. That's not bitterness. That's not vengeance. That's the beginning of real healing. Healing that starts when we stop making excuses for what broke us and start making space to be made whole again. You don't owe anyone the silencing of your truth. You don't owe anyone a smaller version of your story just to make them comfortable. You owe yourself your honesty. You owe yourself your voice. You owe yourself the dignity of saying, this hurt, and I will not pretend otherwise, because they never took the time or were never allowed to name the betrayals that broke them. When betrayal happens between siblings, it's easy to brush it off with words like, that's just how brothers are, or sisters fight. It's normal. It's easy to believe that what happened to you wasn't serious enough to name or that putting words to it would make you the villain, naming the betrayals without shame the troublemaker, the disloyal one. But here's the hard, liberating truth. You cannot heal what you refuse to name. If you can't name the betrayal, it stays blurry in your mind, buried in your body, showing up in every place you try to trust again. It seeps into how close you're willing to let people get. It erodes your sense of safety in your own relationships. It teaches you to flinch even when no one's raising a hand. Naming the betrayals is not about blaming. It's not about staying stuck. It's about telling yourself the truth fully, unapologetically, and without shame. Because when you name the betrayal, you honor the part of you that was hurt. You say to yourself, I see you. I believe you. What happened was real. Let's name them. Let's be clear. Let's stop pretending that family loyalty means staying silent. There are betrayals you must not minimize, must not excuse, must not erase. The betrayal of deliberate humiliation. When your sibling uses your insecurities, your private struggles, or your moments of weakness as entertainment. When they laugh at your pain to bond with others or lift themselves higher, that's betrayal. It fractures not just your relationship with them, but your sense of safety around vulnerability itself. The betrayal of envy turns sabotage. It's normal to feel envy. It's human. But when your sibling allows their jealousy to fester into sabotage, undercutting you, competing with you, undermining you, that's betrayal. Poisons the well of what should have been unconditional support. The betrayal of abandonment when life knocked you down. When you needed backup, when you needed even a single hand to hold and they disappeared, stayed neutral or sided with your pain's cause. That abandonment leaves scars no apology can erase. Of all the betrayal of lies and smear campaigns. When your sibling tells lies about you, twists your words, paints you as someone you're not, whether to protect themselves, to punish you, or just because they could, that's betrayal. It doesn't just hurt your reputation. It fractures the trust that maybe was never real to begin with. The betrayal of broken secrets. When your sibling shares what you gave them in sacred trust, your fears, your dreams, your heartbreaks with others, weaponizing your vulnerability against you, that's betrayal. It teaches you that your heart is not safe even among your own. The betrayal of violence. Whether it's physical aggression, cruel name-calling, manipulation, or emotional warfare, when a sibling inflicts violence, it's not just fighting. It's a deep violation of the bond you were supposed to be able to trust without question. The betrayal of choosing outsiders over you. There is a kind of wound that comes when your sibling sides with strangers, even with people who harmed you against you. It sends a loud, devastating message. Your safety is less important to me than my comfort, my alliances, my pride. These betrayals are not normal. They are not family drama. They are not just how siblings are. They are violations of trust, of love, of the right to be safe and seen inside your own family. And until you name them aloud if you can, or even just inside your own heart, they will keep living there unhealed. Until you name them, they will keep bleeding into places you didn't intend. Naming is the first act of taking your power back. Naming is refusing to let the betrayal choosing boundaries over bitterness shield. Write your story in silence. Naming is saying, I know what was done to me. I know what it cost me, and I honor the part of me that was brave enough to survive it. You don't name the betrayal to get revenge. You don't name it to win the approval of the people who hurt you. You name it because you deserve to be a reliable narrator of your own life. You deserve to live in the full light of truth, not the half light of denial. You name it because healing demands honesty. And you are brave enough to tell the truth even when others would rather you stay silent. He thinks when someone betrays us, especially a sibling, the temptation is strong to choose bitterness, to let the anger calcify, to let resentment become our armor, to believe that building walls high and thick is the only way to stay safe. And honestly, no judgment. Bitterness can feel good at first. It feels like power after you've been powerless. It feels like protection after you've been exposed. It feels like control after someone shattered your trust. But here's the truth about bitterness. It doesn't protect you. It imprisons you. Bitterness is a slow poison you drink hoping it will hurt them. But it only eats you alive from the inside. It wraps itself around your heart and whispers lies. You can't trust anyone. You have to do life alone. Hope is dangerous. Bitterness turns you into someone who expects betrayal around every corner. It dims your light, but it steals your joy. It keeps you connected to your pain longer than you deserve to be. Bitterness is a way of staying loyal to your wounds instead of your healing. But boundaries are different. Boundaries are an act of fierce love for yourself. Boundaries are not walls to keep people out of your life. They are doors that you open carefully, intentionally only for those who have proven they deserve to come in. Boundaries say, I can love you and still choose not to let you hurt me. I can forgive you and still refuse to trust you again without repair. I can carry compassion in my heart without carrying the consequences of your behavior on my back. Choosing boundaries over bitterness means choosing healing over hostility. It means choosing clarity over chaos. It means choosing your future over your past. It's refusing to let someone else's betrayal be the defining story of your life. It's refusing to stay tangled up in anger, rehearsing the hurt over and over like a bad song you can't get out of your head. It's refusing to let someone else's brokenness dictate your wholeness. And let's be honest, boundaries are hard, especially with siblings, because there's pressure. The pressure to keep things normal, the pressure to forgive without accountability, the pressure to show up at family gatherings and pretend everything's fine while your heart is bleeding under the surface. Setting boundaries can feel like breaking family rules you never agreed to, unspoken contracts that say, we don't talk about the hurt. We just act like nothing happened. But here's the truth. Silence is not healing. Denial is not love. I'm pretending isn't peace. You don't owe anyone unlimited access to your life just because you share DNA. You don't have to set yourself on fire to keep the family warm. Choosing boundaries is choosing yourself. It's saying, I deserve relationships that honor my heart. I deserve conversations where I feel safe, not scared. Not scared. I deserve family, whether blood or chosen, that shows up for me with integrity, not just obligation. Choosing boundaries over bitterness means you don't have to carry the weight healing by honoring the truth of hate. You can put it down. You can carry wisdom instead. You can carry strength instead. You can carry strength instead. You can carry grace, but a grace that protects you, not a grace that erases you. Forgiveness is a gift you give yourself, not a free pass you hand out to people who won't change. Boundaries are the fences that protect the garden of your soul, so something beautiful can finally grow because your life is too sacred, too precious, too full of possibility to waste it. living in the ruins of someone else's betrayal. Choosing bitterness keeps you tied to the pain. Choosing boundaries sets you free. And you, my friend, you were always meant to be free. Healing doesn't happen by accident. It doesn't happen just because time passes. It doesn't happen because we pretend we're over it. Real healing begins when we make one of the bravest decisions we'll ever make. We choose to honor the truth, not the polished version, not the version that makes everyone else comfortable, not the version that protects the image of a perfect family, the real truth. Honoring the truth means standing in the full, messy, uncomfortable reality of what happened without minimizing, without sugarcoating, without making excuses for the people who hurt us. It means saying, this is what was done to me. This is what it cost me. This is how it changed me. It means telling the truth about our betrayals, even when it shakes the ground under our feet. And it means facing the grief, the anger, the sorrow, all of it. Because only by facing it can we begin to move through it. There is no shortcut through healing. There is only the long, slow, courageous work of telling the truth to ourselves first and sometimes to others later. Healing by honoring the truth is painful. Yes, but you know what's more painful? Living a life built on lies you tell yourself just to survive. When you refuse to honor the truth, you stay trapped. You stay tangled in stories that don't serve you. You stay loyal to dynamics that are slowly eroding your spirit. When you honor the truth, you set yourself free, even if no one else ever admits what they did. Because healing is not about getting their confession. Healing is about giving yourself permission to stop carrying shame that was never yours to carry. It's about saying, I deserved better. My pain is valid. My story matters. Honoring the truth means allowing yourself to feel all of it. The betrayal, the disappointment, the heartbreak, the anger at the injustice of it, the sadness for the version of your family you thought you had but didn't. It means grieving not just what happened, but also what never happened. The apologies that never came. The protection you never received. The loyalty that was never given. The love that was conditional when it should have been unconditional. Grief is messy work. It doesn't come with neat stages or polite emotions. It comes in waves. It can knock you breathless in the middle of a perfectly good day. It can surface at a song, a smell, a memory you didn't expect. But grief is not your enemy. Grief is your body's way of processing the truth. It's your heart's way of making room for something new. It's the way your soul clears out the old brokenness so you can finally live free. Healing by honoring the truth is radical because it refuses to settle for survival. It demands full aliveness. It demands full dignity. It demands that you stop shrinking yourself to protect other people's comfort and start expanding into the person you were always meant to be. And yes, healing will cost you. It will cost you denial. It will cost you illusion. It will cost you the fake peace that comes from pretending. It will cost you the roles you play to keep the family system afloat. But what you gain in return is everything. You gain your voice. You gain your wholeness. You gain your clarity. You gain your peace. Not the fragile peace of avoidance, but the fierce peace of living in your own skin. Final conclusion. Reclaim your power and peace, Dove, without apology. You don't have to hate the people who hurt you to heal from them, but you do have to stop lying for them. You do have to stop lying to yourself. Healing is not about revenge. Healing is about reclamation, reclaiming your own soul from the wreckage of betrayal. You are allowed to honor the full truth. You are allowed to live by the full truth. You are allowed to heal in the light of the full truth because you, exactly as you are worthy of a life that is honest, whole, and free. No matter who I am, you must completely step into being healing because you are the heal. Healing begins when you choose to honor your truth, even if it shakes the world around you. And no matter who refuses to see you, no matter who still tries to rewrite the past, you will know this. You told the truth. You honored your story. You honored yourself. And you healed because you were brave enough to face it all and live anyway. Family is supposed to be the first place you are loved, protected, celebrated, not the first place you are betrayed. And when betrayal comes from the people who are supposed to stand beside you, when it comes from your own blood, it cuts deeper than words can say. You don't owe anyone silence to make them more comfortable. You don't owe anyone your loyalty at the cost of your dignity. You don't owe anyone a seat at your table just because they share your last name. The betrayals you've survived were real. The hurt you carry is real. And the healing you deserve, it's real too. But healing doesn't come from pretending it didn't happen. It doesn't come from minimizing your pain. It doesn't come from waiting for people who broke you to suddenly fix you. Healing comes from standing firmly in the truth of your story, from naming what hurt you, from setting boundaries, closing words. You are the warrior who survived that honor you, from choosing your peace over their approval. It comes from choosing to forgive if and when you're ready, but also from refusing to forget what you had to survive. It comes from understanding that forgiveness without accountability isn't healing. It's betrayal of yourself. You are not bitter because you're angry. You are not broken because you're still grieving. You are brave because you're telling the truth. You are wise because you're choosing boundaries. You are powerful because you refuse to carry shame that was never yours. You didn't choose the betrayal. But today you can choose the healing. You can choose yourself. You can choose your future. You can choose a life built on freedom and on the kind of fierce, wholehearted love that you always deserve. To walk forward, not carrying bitterness, not weighed down by silence, but carrying the strength that only comes from honoring your own story. Because your story is not about the people who betrayed you. Your story is about the warrior who survived. And that warrior is